What's up, everybody? It is my favorite time of year. It is fall in New England, which means one thing. It's spooky season. And since it's spooky season, I would like to do a mural on the wall in my backyard. It's been a long time since I painted something on the wall in my backyard, and since it's spooky season, I want to go with something a little Halloween-like. So I grabbed my iPad, I sketched up this. I've got kind of a mummy and a graffiti piece, and I think it's going to lay nicely on the wall. I took a picture of the wall. It's currently blue. I based it the other day. So at night, I am going to take this image and project it on the wall, and then I'll be good to go tomorrow. I wanted to make sure this job got done as quickly and efficiently as possible, so projecting made this a whole lot easier. Another technique I liked during this project was to use 2 different colors of spray paint for each portion. One color for the graffiti and one color for the character. That way, when it was daytime, it would be very easy to distinctly see the 2 different colors and not have any confusion. It is a beautiful fall day in Connecticut. I am ready to get started on this piece. I am not sure if it is going to be 1 day or 2 days, but I'm just going to get started with the background, see how that goes, and then we will start to layer in the foreground. Having a blue background to start with was a huge advantage. I was easily able to dust in some clouds as background using various tones of blues. Once the sky was all mapped in, I started mapping in the tombstone up top, and then it was time to move on to the midground. I based in some grass using greens, I put a little fence in the background, and then thought it would be nice to add a little bit of dirt underneath the graffiti portion of the piece just to switch it up a little and add more color. So at this point, I think I'm pretty much done with all the background. I just want to detail the tombstones that are here. And I'm thinking about putting the crew names. I want to put like a YIC and a NA there, or vice versa. It's not a death to the crew. It's just us rocking out in a cemetery. I normally don't add a lot of background to my work, but I think adding this cemetery set a tone for the rest of the piece. Sometimes backgrounds can be super fun to do, but sometimes they're just tedious. In this case, I was having a lot of fun, but at the same time, I really couldn't wait to get into the letters and then do the character. I just had to remind myself all that background work would pay off in the long run. I think the background is done. Let's color in some letters. So my basic approach to coloring these letters is to just create a blend with the yellows from dark at the bottom to light at the top. Yellow is typically not a very opaque color, so I knew that I would have to let it dry and go back and do more layers just to make sure that it was super opaque in the end. To lay in my base tones, I'm using the orange dot, which is also the stock cap on Montana black cans. This way I can quickly and efficiently base my color and then go back and add some shadows. Once all of my shadows have been added, I'm able to go back and then add some highlights to each letter. At this point, we could see all the color is based. I am saving the O. I have a plan for that. I think what I'm going to do is match the color of the mummy, which I'm thinking some like palish kind of, some different greens than what I used in the ground. Something that's going to pop, but also be kind of muted. So we'll get into the O later, but for now, it's time to outline the yellow. And I think I'm going to use this color amethyst. It's like kind of like a mauve, pinkish red sort of, but I think that's going to look nice. I'll do some highlights with plum and some other colors and then go in with cherry to darken some of the sections. To do all this line work, I am using my personal favorite cap, the Level 1 cap. Although lining can be somewhat tedious, it's usually one of my favorite parts because it's when I get to see the entire piece kind of come together. I had no idea what I was going to do for a color scheme for the graffiti portion, but once I had finished the background, I decided to take a little breakfast break, and I sat there eating breakfast staring at it and remembered a piece that I had done in my past. I really liked the way this color scheme had worked before, so I thought maybe I'll just reuse it, but do it a couple years later better. To me, at least, the piece, the background, everything was a little different, so it wasn't like it was exactly the same thing. At this point in time, I was pretty happy with how the piece was going. I couldn't wait to finish the line work and then get into some highlights on the dimensions. There we go. I'm finally able to start adding some highlights with the color plum on top of the amethyst. When you're applying some of the highlights, it's important to figure out a light source. Now in this particular piece, I kind of screwed myself a little because I added that moon, so there's a light source behind, but I also wanted a light source in the front so that the piece wouldn't be so dark. So I kind of made an additional light source on the front upper left that's also going to be reflecting on the mummy. And of course, if you add highlights, you also got to add some shadows. Now I am definitely no master at this, I just try my best to make it look good from afar. If you guys do want to learn more, I would highly recommend checking out my crewmate's work, Smo Nova. I definitely learned a lot from Smo, and Smo, if you're watching this video, I hope you like this one. So the letters are pretty much done. I just have to color the O, and once the O is colored in, I can finally get on to the character. The piece is done. I'm feeling really good about the time I'm making, and it is time to color this character. So if you've seen my videos, you should know by now, I always enjoy starting from the top. Anything that needs to be done on a ladder, I want to get out of the way first. In my opinion, it's just the best way to not exert yourself, save that energy, and then reward yourself when you're on the ground later. With that being said, I also find hair to be somewhat tedious to do, so I thought it was a good idea to kind of get that out of the way and then save the face for the last portion. You can see the combination of highlights and then dark tones added are adding just a little bit of fold to the hair, just enough to volumize that hair. Anyways, I'm glad that the tedious stuff is almost done, and I'm curious. I like to know how other artists work. If you guys create art, let me know. Do you like to get the tedious work done first, or do you like to save that for the end? Just curious, let me know in the comments. Alright, the bandages are done, the hair is pretty much done, so I can finally start mapping in the face. And as I said before, I wanted to make sure that the O and the face of the mummy were the same color. I often like to just create a little repetition in my work just to kind of lead the viewer's eyes around. I was really excited at this point because I was making great timing, and I really wasn't sure if this piece was going to be a one-day thing or a two-day thing. But at this moment, it was feeling like a one day. At this point, I'm getting closer to all those final details, kind of lining out some stuff, creating a little more contrast in the character. And of course, we got to take some time to shape those lips, make them look nice, so that this mummy, of course, can tell you all about the great merchandise available on my website. That's right, if you want to help support me more, you can head on over to woke1.com. I have added so much new merch to the website. I have new sketches, I have some new paintings, prints, I've got new t-shirts, so definitely be sure to check it out. As always, there's stickers, there's a pin, there's still some hoodies left, so take a look. There's plenty of original artwork as well. Maybe get yourself something. If not, no worries. I appreciate you. Another way, of course, to support me is to join my Patreon. This is the best way to stay in the loop and keep up with everything going on. There are multiple tiers to check out. You can check out projects before they're out. You can get your name on the screen. And speaking of which, let's get back to painting and thank those members now. I always know I'm close to done when I'm doing the highlights in the eyes. After that, I just got to add some eyelids and some eyelashes. And I'll admit, I actually almost forgot about that little hair strand to the right side, right there. I always hate it when that happens. It's so easy to get lost and distracted on things that you mean to do and totally forget to do later. Does this happen to you guys? If so, let me know. Oh man, I am all wrapped up. That is it for today. I had so much fun on this project. I always have fun doing spooky season sort of Halloween art. This was a blast. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and also in the comments, if you guys are dressing up for Halloween, let me know what you're dressing up as. Leave that in the comments. And without further ado, here it is, the final product.